Coming up on News 2, last week the St. Thomas St. John Deputy Elections Supervisor resigned. Now another departure as St. Croix's Deputy James Weber III announces his resignation. The VI government's contract of sale to purchase land in Cotton Valley, St. Croix, and land in Estate Bovoni, St. Thomas is discussed at the Senate. Plus, this week's Crimestoppers report and how you can help police as they continue to investigate some pending cases. Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gamansing. The Senate's Finance Committee met on St. Thomas Tuesday to discuss the government of the Virgin Islands' contracts of sale to purchase land in Cotton Valley, St. Croix, and land in Estate Bovoni, St. Thomas. Both bills are a continuation from their February 19th session. News2's Erica Bivens reports.
The Senate Finance Committee began their hearing Tuesday with discussion on whether two properties should be transferred to the Virgin Islands government. The contracts of sale were between the government of the Virgin Islands and
Phyllis Nelson, trustee of the Phyllis Saunders Trust, to purchase plot number 57 Cotton Valley Estate, East End, Quarter B, St. Croix.
The other between the government of the Virgin Islands
and Mark Imowitz, co-trustee of the Patty Birch 1991 Trust, for the parcel number 1-2 Estate Bovoni, numbers 1 and 2 Frenchman's Quarter, St. Thomas.
According to Property and Procurement Commissioner Lynn Millen Maduro, the St. Croix property would be used to build a police substation. The St. Thomas property would allow the Virgin Islands to own 100% of a cay that has been designated as a park and nature preserve, rather than 95%. But senators had some concerns.
Even as a former law enforcement officer, I would love to see a substation in just about every community. But is it realistic to man these substations? No, it's not.
Others took issue with P&P not following the law, specifically with regards to obtaining a waiver from the Attorney General and a letter on intent for use from the governor.
I'm going to do everything in our efforts to do the business of the people of the Virgin Islands the correct way.
A few suggested approving the bills forward to the Rules Committee, saying the government needs more property, especially with escalating rental costs.
Once told me you don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
After 2 rounds of questioning, senators voted to hold the 2 bills in committee until the law could be complied with.
These 2 contracts of sale are being held until we get the waiver from the Attorney General and the intent of use from the governor.
P&P was given until 2 o'clock to provide the documents for approval. However, they did not meet that deadline. Their next hearing is scheduled for April 16th. For News 2, I'm Erica Bivens.
The Finance Committee also approved an appropriation of $700,000 to the Bureau of Corrections, as well as another $800,000 to the Bureau of Internal Revenue. The Senate Committee on Homeland Security, Justice, and Public Safety continued getting status updates from various government agencies. On Monday, senators heard from the VI Lottery, the Taxicab Commission, the University of the Virgin Islands, and the National Guard about their needs.
We're going to have to make some really serious decisions about our spending in the territory, because when there's no money to go around at all, then the question is going to be, why didn't we do something sooner? And it's the same reason I'm on that same tack when it comes to energy, and you've heard me talk about it from the beginning of this term, at least, when I said that at some point we're going to have to figure out what we cut, because energy has to be subsidized.
St. Croix's Deputy Elections Supervisor James Weber III has resigned his position. Weber's letter comes less than 1 week after the St. Thomas St. John District Supervisor left her post. Mabel Maduro resigned last Thursday, and like that announcement, Weber's notice caught the Board of Elections by surprise. News2's Erica Parsons has more.
Elections Joint Board Chair Alicia Wells confirmed Tuesday that St. Croix's Deputy Elections Supervisor James Weber III has resigned.
Dear Ms. Wells, effective immediately, I'm resigning my position as a Deputy Supervisor of Elections for the District of St. Croix. I would like to thank all the Joint Board members for allowing me the opportunity to serve the people of the Virgin Islands.
Weber's resignation comes on the heels of St. Thomas St. John District's Deputy Supervisor Mabel Maduro's own resignation last Thursday. Joint Board Chair Wells said she didn't know what prompted Weber to resign. In fact, she spoke with him Monday morning about preparing to testify before the Senate next week to discuss HAVA and the election system budget.
And I asked him if he thought he'd be ready for that by the 27th. He said yes, and I said, well, should I ask for a postponement? And he said, well, that might be good, too. And then he told me to hold on, or then he said, no, I'll call you back. Next thing I knew, someone called to tell me there was a letter that he had resigned.
Weber's sudden departure leaves a void at the top of St. Croix's election system, especially with Supervisor John Abramson Jr. out on leave. And while St. Croix Board Chair Delbert Bryan wouldn't comment to News 2, the Joint Chair Alicia Wells did say that she couldn't speak immediately of a replacement for Weber, but that they are working on it.
It's just that it caught me so off guard that I'm looking at some scenarios, and I don't want to say anything yet until I speak to my executive committee. But we need to get moving on this post-haste.
Wells said she'll have to ask the Senate to postpone the upcoming hearing.
I was just constructing a letter to Senator Capehart asking for another date rather than the 27th, because that I wouldn't have any information. And you know that only certain persons are allowed to go into the system, the ERP system that the government has, to be able to access information, and I'm not authorized to do that.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
Weber did not respond to calls for comment. The Virgin Islands Next Generation Network launched their VI Digital Literacy Campaign Monday. The territory-wide initiative is geared towards making sure everyone is competent in digital literacy. There is a train-the-trainer component for government agencies. However, everyone else, including students, senior citizens, veterans, and private sector employees, can log on to VINGN's website to begin that training. Participants will receive a certificate upon completion. The deadline to sign up and participate is Sunday, June 30th. A male victim stabbed about 10 times is not talking. Police on St. Thomas are investigating the non-fatal stabbing, which was reported about 2:30 a.m. Monday morning. According to the police report, officers were dispatched to the Schneider Regional Medical Center. Police say a male victim refused to provide any personal information, where he was when he was stabbed, who stabbed him, or why he may have been stabbed. Medical personnel present told police no vital organs were affected. Anyone with information should call detectives at 715-5522 or Crimestoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. Well, arson has been suspected in a case of a vehicle fire last weekend in the Marley housing community in Frederick. Said police were dispatched to the fire around 4:25 a.m. Saturday morning to find the vehicle engulfed in flames. Police arrived to find firefighters already working to put that fire out. Fire officials are calling it arson because they found evidence that gasoline was thrown on the vehicle. The owner of the vehicle told police she did not know why or who would set her car on fire. VI Fire Service and the VIPD are investigating this case. Police on St. Croix are investigating a first-degree robbery that occurred in Estate Barron Spot early Saturday morning. The victim told police he was at a party at a residence when he went outside and an unknown man wearing a black mask over his face, carrying a black handgun, said to give him everything. The victim told police the man took his gold chain valued at almost $2,000. Criminal Investigation Bureau detectives are investigating. Police remind you that if you have any information about crimes or any persons involved and you call Crimestoppers, you never have to give your name or appear in court. Crimestoppers USVI will pay a cash reward of up to $2,500 and you can remain anonymous. Unclaimed rewards expire 6 months after award date. Here's this week's report. Police say on Monday, January 9th, 2012, at approximately 8 p.m., they responded to a report of shots fired in the Paradise Mills housing community. On the scene, they found 27-year-old Manuel Alfonseca lying in the parking lot of Building 1 near a white Honda. He had been shot several times. He was transported to the hospital and then died. A 23-year-old male was also shot at the same time, but he survived. Description of the shooter or shooters were not provided. If you know anything about this murder, your help is needed. Over on St. John, officers say on Thursday, March 7 at 5:40 a.m., police received a call through 911 that a vehicle near Island Blues in Coral Bay was engulfed in flames. If you know anything about this incident, please call. And over on St. Thomas on Wednesday, March 13th, around 9:45 p.m., a man was driving his car with a friend in the area of Tabor and Harmony near the turnoff into Hidden Valley. When two unknown males flagged him down, the men jumped into the vehicle, pulled out handguns, and ordered them to empty their pockets. After taking their belongings, the gunmen forced them out of the car and then sped off. Your tips are completely anonymous. Remember, if your tip leads to the arrest or recovery of stolen property, illegal drugs, or weapons, you will receive a cash reward to be paid according to instructions. The minimum reward for the arrest of a murder suspect is $1,500. For an armed robber, it's $900. For an arsonist, it's $714. Again, you can help by calling 1-800-222-8477. On Friday, the VI Supreme Court ruled the retrial of 3 former Schneider Regional Medical Center executives may proceed and does not constitute double jeopardy. Rodney Miller Sr., Amos Carty Jr., and Peter Nahowicz were initially tried on several white-collar criminal charges in 2011. They were accused of conspiring to steal millions of dollars from the hospital. However, Superior Court Judge Michael Dunstan ruled it a mistrial after the jury couldn't reach a unanimous verdict after 5 days. Following that, Nahowicz asked the trial court to dismiss on grounds of double jeopardy. Dunstan denied that motion, which Nahowicz appealed to the VI Supreme Court in 2012. The court issued an opinion Friday signed by Chief Justice Reese Hodge, which concludes Dunstan's decision to declare a mistrial met the legal standards and permits the VI government to retry the trio. Monday, she now endorses same-sex marriage, saying gay rights are human rights. The announcement has many speculating that Clinton may be seriously considering a run for president in 2016. CBS News correspondent Susan McGinnis reports from Washington.
Hillary Clinton is now in favor of same-sex marriage.
I support marriage for lesbian and gay couples. I support it personally and as a matter of policy and law, embedded in a broader effort to advance equality and opportunity for LGBT Americans and all Americans.
Clinton's announcement came in a video released by the gay rights advocacy group Human Rights Campaign. It says Clinton wanted to make her stand before the Supreme Court hears arguments next week on same-sex marriage. The White House applauded the announcement, saying Clinton's position matches the president's.
It's testimony to how far this country and how quickly this country has traveled.
Other potential Democratic candidates for president in 2016 have already voiced their support for same-sex marriage. It could prove to be a divisive issue for Republicans who have been almost unanimously opposed.
One notable exception, Ohio's Rob Portman, who last week became the only Republican senator to publicly support same-sex marriage. Portman changed his position after learning his 21-year-old son is gay. Susan McGinnis, CBS News, Washington.
A new poll released Monday shows 58% of Americans now support gay marriage, up from 47% 3 years ago. It's legal in 9 states and the District of Columbia. Keeping our eye on the economy, Boeing has landed its largest ever order from a European airline. Budget carrier Ryanair will buy 175 Boeing 737-800 aircraft. Neither side disclosed the purchase price, but industry analysts put the figure at about $8 billion. This is a New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank Stock Market Watch. The Dow up 3, NASDAQ down 8, S&P 3. Coming up on News 2, if you haven't heard who the top winners are, we have them from Afternoon on the Green. Plus, 18 miles, over 100 runners and walkers, and 1 million steps. A peace walk aimed to send a message about gun violence over the weekend. We have highlights. Well, congratulations to Jose Martin, a senior at Child Molly High School who was declared the 2013 Poetry Out Loud State Champion. She will advance to the national finals, which will take place April 29th through May 3rd in Washington, D.C. VI Council on the Arts and the Poetry Foundation organizes Poetry Out Loud, which encourages high school students to learn about great poetry. Ms. Martin and her chaperone's trip to D.C. will be funded, and she also received cash prizes. Jania Washington from VI Montessori School placed second, and Lawrence Thomas Lewis from St. Croix Seventh-day Adventist School was the third place winner. On the national level, a total of $50,000 will be awarded. The national champion winner will receive a $20,000 scholarship. Well, the winners of the 24th Annual University of the Virgin Islands Afternoon on the Green have been announced, and Brianna Hairston's Tropical Coconut Cupcakes led the way and got the attention of the masses, giving her top ranking in the People's Choice category. The top winner for pastries and sweets was Lois Thomas Letsom, who dazzled the judges with her assortments of tarts. Native drink winner was a tie with Eldridge Thomas's Sizzling Sorrel and Ginger Beer and Hibiscus drink by Jermaine Baird. Stedman Hod Jr.'s Red Pea Soup with pork won in the best soup. In the battle for side dishes, Prudentia Freeman's Baked Macaroni and Cheese took the crown. Alex Randall took the top spot in the vegetable casseroles category with his WUVI Radio Lasagna. For main dishes, meats and poultry, Lyra Thomas Harrigan's Chicken and Rice was the best, and in seafood category, Brigo's Firehouse Salmon by Arthur Remo got the winning nod. Congratulations to all the cooks. Well, early Saturday morning, hundreds of residents on St. Thomas made it a priority to wake up and march in a cry to end gun violence here in the territory at the Million Steps for Peace March. The march, which was organized by the Jason Carroll Foundation and Virgin Island Mothers Against Guns, featured a slew of supporters on the 18 miles route on St. Thomas. Stations were placed at 2-mile intervals where marchers prayed and acknowledged those who have been taken by gun violence in the territory or abroad. Pope Francis celebrated his installation mass this morning at the Vatican. 150 cardinals, world leaders, and thousands of Catholics packed St. Peter's Square for the ceremony. Randall Pinkston has the latest details from Vatican City.